Hello friend, it's BorasLegend here, and it's time for the top 5 formations in FIFA 20 Ultimate Team with, 1 month into FIFA 20, some patches and a lot of experience. It's now pretty safe to proclaim the top 5. Alright, so first out we have the good old Diamond, the 4-1-2-1-2, and this offers you a lot of, very direct gameplay, a lot of options going forward. It's very fast forward, but the problem is of course that you have a bad width since it is a narrow formation of course, but still, if you have a very direct gameplay, this will suit you very well. And also what will help you with this kind of game style is using getting behind for the strikers, and also you can use the stay forward for the cam to create this deadly triangle up front for counterattacks. And I usually just leave the CMs on default, and for the CDM there are two options, either using stay back, which remains this constellation with the 4-1-2-1-2, or you can use a drop back between defenders to create the 5 at the back during the build up, which is actually a nice choice because then you can use attacking fullbacks and actually create the width that the 4-1-2-1-2 is lacking from the start. And then we have the 3-5-2 on the 4th place for me, which is kind of a wide variation of the Diamond 4-1-2-1-2. We have still this trio up front, this deadly triangle. But you also have two wingers that will help out to fill this gap, and also you have these two CDMs which will help out much in the defense to cover and help out these 3 center backs. So you can play fast forward, but you also have the width, and you always have 3 guys staying back. But of course there's also problems with the 3-5-2. Sometimes the wingers will not help out in the defense, and the flanks can get very open, and sometimes it is tricky to defend. With the 3 center backs, it takes very much practice. For me personally, I prefer to have 4 defenders having 2 fullbacks and 2 center backs instead of just having 3 center backs. But if you master this, it can really become very powerful. And also with the instructions, I think the same as with the Diamond, get in behind, and also stay forward for the cam. Cut passing lanes for the CDM. You can also add cover center if you feel that is important. Also stay back for the CDMs. And for the wingers, I would add the comeback on defense to make them more active and help out more in the defense to just help to defend these flanks, as we only have 3 center backs and we don't have any fullbacks. We want the wingers to act both as fullback and as wingers in the attack, so that's why we add comeback on defense. And that is pretty much it for the 3-5-2. Of course you can use your own instructions which you prefer, but this is overall a very stable and good formation here in FIFA 20. Well, we have the usual suspects this year. We have the 4-4-2 here on the 3rd place for me personally, and this is just some great symmetry. The classical 4-4-2, you always have 2 strikers up front, and they offer you a lot of options, and also this great width and the 2 CMs that will help out a lot in attack, but also of course act pretty much as CDMs in the defense. But the problem with the 4-4-2 is of course that it is a bit attacking. You don't have the CDMs, and that can sometimes create some gaps between the center backs and the midfield. And when it comes to instructions for this one, I would actually not use getting behind for the strikers. I think of course that is very individual, but this one is, you're gonna use them more as the target mans, the strikers here. But I would use though comeback on defense for the strikers, stay back for the center midfielders, and also optional of course cover center. And for the wingers you can just leave them on default and stay back for these 2 fullbacks. So yes, the 4-4-2 is a great choice this year. It offers you great options in attack, but also it is pretty stable in the defense. You can create a lot of chances, but still simply keeps on clean sheets. And then we have the 4-2-2, which is very similar to the 4-4-2, just that it is way more compact, and you have these options in the defense with the CDMs, where you can actually cut the passing lanes, which you can't do having CMs, and this will help out much more in the defense, of course, having these CDMs instead of CMs. So the problem though is that the gap between the midfield and strikers will be even bigger, and you have to use big help of the left and right cam here to try to connect the midfield and the strikers. And the same here with the 4-2-2, since there is such a big gap between midfield and strikers, I would not use getting behind for the strikers, since there is no simple central cam that can connect the midfield and strikers. Also would use a comeback on defense, same as with the 4-4-2. And for the cams, just leave them on default. You can also add instructions such as free roam or get into the box for crosses if you want to make them a bit more active and get into the pitch more. But overall, the left and the right cam will be way more active in the gameplay than left and right mid. As in the 4-4-2, the left and right mid will simply get a bit isolated sometimes on the wing, while this will help you to connect midfield and strikers. So we said the cutbacks and lanes for the CDMs. You can also add, of course, cover center and stay back while attacking. Even though in the 4-2-2 in FIFA 20, I would recommend to use just the balanced attack on the CDMs to try to even more lessen this gap between the midfield and the strikers. And for the fullbacks, I would recommend to use stay back while attacking, since if you're using attacking fullbacks on this one, it will sometimes collide with the side cams. They will just stand in the exact same position, which is just pointless, while having them on stay back will help you to have options in the build-up. So yes, 4-2-2 is a great choice this year, but the best formation in my opinion is the good old classical traditional 4-2-3-1, which is a sibling formation to the 4-2-2. The only difference, which is a big difference, is that it has one striker and 3 cams instead of 2 strikers and 2 cams. So this one striker from the 4-2-2 is moving down to play as a cam and helping out to connect the midfield and the strikers. And why is the 4-2-3-1 so good this year, you may wonder? Well, that is because it's so easy to keep the ball. You always have options in the build-up. There is fullbacks here, having them on stay back. There is CDMs connecting with the midfield, with the cam. There is a left cam, a right cam. Everybody's standing close. It's very compact. And then when you find a space into the box, just finding it to a striker, preferably having someone with the 5-star weak foot, and you can just turn left or right and just take that finesse shot or power shot towards either direction. So this is a great formation to keep the ball, and also it is so good in the defense. It is so compact. You have these 2 CDMs just cutting off passing lanes in this case, and these cams will also help out a lot, since you can add, of course, comeback on defense for the cams. Actually, you can add it for the whole attacking quartet if you want. Usually though, I would leave the cams on default to create some kind of counter-attacking options, and have only the striker here on comeback on defense. When it comes to the instructions for the striker, there are 2 options, of course, depending on your game style. There is getting behind if you have a bit more direct game style, and then also, of course, just the default setting, which is if you have a bit more of a slow build-up. That is something that I recommend personally at the moment with this current FIFA 20 meta, as I mentioned yesterday, to just have the striker on balanced. So balanced comeback on defense, default, cut passing lanes, and stay back while attacking. Sometimes you can also have them unbalanced, the same as with the 4-2-2. If you want more help in attack, if you feel that, okay, I'm not creating enough chances, you can just change the CDMs to balanced attack, but that will of course also be a bit more risky for the counter attacks. Cover center is also an option, just as with the previous ones, and stay back here for the fullbacks. So that is the top 5 in FIFA 20 in my opinion. Just because this is my number 1 does not mean that it is your number 1. You have to try out and see which fits you the best. Do you want 1 strikers, 2 strikers? Do you need a cam, or do you just want to play very wide? Depending on your playstyle, depending on your preferences on the pitch, how you want to play FIFA 20. But I would definitely recommend you to use one of these 5 formations in the game. Alright guys, that's it for today. Tomorrow I will be back with a 150k team in for Champions, and this 150k team is just ridiculous. This is a market crash, has been crazy, man, and you can get such a good team for a very low price. And also I have my gamers class live at the moment with the FIFA 20 courses, and this is just amazing with 3 hours of material. If you watch all of my videos, of course there will be a lot of repetition, but there will also be some unique material, since, well, there's a lot of footage, and also they have access to some tools with the graphics and such that I don't have at home. So you can check this out if you want. It's $30, as I said. I'm not gonna have any secrets there that I don't share on YouTube. It's just that there's more content and more in-depth, and I think that it can help you to develop as a FIFA player. So I have that link in the description below, with also 15% off if you use this link. But yes, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, until next time, take care.